Hello everyone, we are back for a sequel to the video that showcased rare spots on the map in GTA 3's Liberty City. This time we're going to be looking at places in Vice City that you perhaps rarely or never even visited. I hope you enjoy watching. Let's start here on the first island we get access to. Well, technically, we're beginning this video in the waters of the first island. Not far from the marina where Colonel Cortez's boat is moored, we can find 3 houses here in the sea. Let's park up and take a look around. At the bottom is a jetty, with a bending staircase that runs up to the house itself. If we walk all around the exterior, we can see that there is no way inside. Not for us anyway. There are 2 locked doors that only the owner can access, of course. Using the rocket launcher trick to look inside, we can see that there's nothing in there, of course. If we look across the way here, we can see the second of these houses. Is house even the right word to use to describe them? Honestly, I'm not sure. They're more like shacks, really. Maybe just places people come to stop off on a boat ride, perhaps. The second building is just like the first. There are no pickups here, no rampages, no secret packages, or anything else. These 2 intact structures go completely unused in the game, if I remember right. The third building, however, is a little different. This one is a ruin. We don't know what happened to it. Maybe it was abandoned and fell into a state of disrepair before a tropical storm finished it off. Even the staircase is incomplete. Look, I'm standing on thin air. Whatever happened in the past, unlike the other 2, the ruin actually does serve more of a purpose in the game. There's a secret package located here, as well as a rampage. It's also worth mentioning that the boatyard mission Checkpoint Charlie does take place around here too. The rampage tasks the player with destroying 10 vehicles in 2 minutes, all of which will likely be boats. Just remember not to blow up your own, otherwise you won't be able to get back to land. And back on dry land, we venture to the second place on our list, the Leaf Links Golf Course and Country Club, which featured in the mission 4 Iron for Avery Carrington. However, that mission centred on the driving range part of the golf course, which is located close to the entrance. That means that the majority of the course never really sees any action, possibly meaning that you've never bothered to explore it. It's a shame you couldn't play a round of golf in Vice City, otherwise I might have ventured around every hole. So, what's the rest of Leaf Links like? Well, we better look the part if we're going into the country club. Past the driving range are a couple of holes where golfers like to congregate. It's common to see groups of players just standing around chatting. There's not much golf happening on this course. Also, some of the tee signs and the pins are translucent, whereas others are opaque. Either way, you can actually pass right through them all, as none of them are solid. If we make our way over here, we can see one of several pickups on the golf course. Some body armour in one of the course's many bunkers. Past here is the tee sign for hole 13. And further, the pin for one of the holes as well. Leaf Links is actually a full 18-hole golf course, despite you not being able to play a single one of them. Here's another group of golfers too, also not playing any golf. There's a small creek that runs through this section of the course too. Don't hit your ball down there or you'll never get it back. Back near the clubhouse, there's this snaking path with car parking spaces on each level. This is a curious spot because there's no way to get in here with a car. You do see golf buggies within the course, and sometimes a car can actually spawn and drive around the course, but that's rare and it's also a glitch. Let's cross this very aesthetic wooden bridge that passes over the road, followed by another wooden bridge with a hidden package on it. I believe there are 5 hidden packages to be found at Leaf Links in total. So if you have ever been on a package hunt, you may well be familiar with the course. This bridge leads to this tiny island part of the course that looks like it could even become submerged in a spate of bad weather. And with the threat of bad weather in mind, let's hurry on to our next location. I don't want to suggest that we're peaking too early, but this may be my personal favourite place on our list today, and that is underwater. Despite Rockstar introducing helicopters and aeroplanes with full wings at least, in Vice City, they still didn't give us the ability to swim. That means that our views of Vice City's ocean life are restricted to what we can see when we're looking down through the surface of the water. However, there are multiple ways of glitching underwater. My favourite being this one, where we fly through a section of the Vice Langer building and underneath the map. There's lots to see in Vice City's seas. In fact, I previously made a whole video about it, and I'll leave a link to it in the description if you're interested. However, one of my favourite spots is this sunken tanker here. When it pops into view at such a short distance, it immediately feels so domineering. It's massive. It can be found in the waters between the 2 main islands that make up Vice City, though closer to the mainland island. Its hull is completely wrecked. It must have had a big accident. Perhaps it ran aground on the rocks that we can see beside it. Also, look how rusty it is. It must have been down here for a long time. When viewed from above, only part of the liner is visible, so we can only see the full ship by going underwater like this. If we go around the back, we can see that it belonged to Chartered Libertine Lines, a corporation which first appeared in GTA 3. Another one of my favourite underwater locations is the north of the first island, where we can discover a submarine. This model is very basic, probably due to the fact that you were never expected to get this close to it. But what's it doing down here? Are the Russians spying on us again? It's not just objects you can find underwater either. There's Vice City's ocean life to appreciate too. To do this, I'm using the waterproof BF injection from The Chase, a mission from Ricardo Diaz. This BF injection can drive underwater, in places where there's actually a solid surface to drive on. So let's go to Ocean Beach and check out the wildlife. Here's a fish above us. These ones typically swim on their own, while others tend to move about in shoals. Speaking of shoals, here's a group of what look like angelfish swimming past this lifebuoy. And here's another one swimming by itself. Check this out, it's a sea turtle. I also found another one at a better angle later. We can actually see its face this time. All of a sudden I fancy a cheeseburger for some reason. And here's a better view of what I think are angelfish. And look at this, a dolphin. It's swimming very close to the shore, so I hope it doesn't get stuck on the beach. Here's another small fish swimming above us. and also a jellyfish, which actually clipped through the beach. There's another type of jellyfish which you can see too. And I was looking for one of these for so long, and it finally showed up, a shark, just off the coast of Vice City. Watch out if you're paddling at Ocean Beach. Now let's move over to Starfish Island, the third part of Vice City that becomes available after Ocean Bay and Prawn Island to the north as well. Starfish Island is home to some of Vice City's most affluent residents. If you don't have a swimming pool or a tennis court in your garden here, you're going to look out of place. And here I am, driving a Rumpo with a broken bumper. I can't help but feel out of place among the passing Banshees and Infernuses. Let's park up and head over on foot. Look at this mansion with a cheetah outside. There's also a jetty for a boat at the bottom of the garden. And what a view of some lovely low poly textures this resident can enjoy. Oh look, their pool doesn't actually have any water in it. Maybe they're renovating. Inside this pool is one of the few locations of the Keepy Uppy Beach Ball. It's a curious little minigame that doesn't really serve a purpose, other than to mess around for a while. However, I believe that in newer versions of the game, you can actually get a trophy or an achievement for a score of 5. But that's a rookie number, so let's see how many we can get. There you go, a score of 20, before it sadly hit the side of the pool. The game keeps track of your score in the stats section too. Did you also know that there's another Keepy Uppy Beach Ball right near this one? Also on Starfish Island. Still using our beta van, let's use it to climb over this gate. Right in front of a cop. Nothing to see here, officer. This mansion has a lovely double garage with a Phoenix parked in it, and they actually have water in their swimming pool. This is where the other beach ball can be found. This one acts quite strangely as it doesn't float on the water. Has it got concrete inside it or something? When I say those are the only 2 locations of the Keepy Uppy Beach Ball, what I mean is that they're the only 2 permanent locations. There have been other sightings of the beach ball around Vice City, where it can spawn sometimes, but it won't always be there. One location is near the lighthouse at Ocean Beach. From memory, I believe you can see it rarely on this stone section here, but sadly it didn't want to spawn for this video. Speaking of the lighthouse, it's one location I considered for this video, but I thought people might be too familiar with it. But while we're here, let's take a quick look. There's a secret package at the entrance, and going inside, there's a long spiral staircase that takes you to the top. And there's nothing at the top, other than a nice view out to sea. It's also pretty aesthetic, especially when the light is on at night time. The top of the lighthouse is potentially the best place to see the ghost ship phenomenon in Vice City. If you look to the horizon, you can sometimes see silhouettes of boats. This was considered a myth for some time, but they definitely exist. I believe they were created by Rockstar to add realism to the game. to show the world continues beyond the boundaries of Vice City. Also worth mentioning is this doorway about halfway up the stairs. It's like a little diving platform, but one that drops straight to the ground. A beginner's trap, maybe. Another confirmed location of the beach ball is around the back of the Vice Langer building. Now I'm not sure whether it spawns within the hotel grounds or on the sand nearby. But indeed, the beach ball can be found around here on occasion. We continue our journey in Vice City by moving across to the mainland, the last island we unlock, which is where we'll spend the rest of the video. A quick stop off at the docks is up first. There are, I think, 3 boats at the docks. Big ones anyway. The first one being this one, which features in the mission spilling the beans for the printworks. And then there's this one, which has a long wooden plank leading up to it. You don't seem to be able to get to the upper deck from here though. To get higher, you have to fly there. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, do you recognise this ship? Well, it was featured in my last video, on GTA 3. It's the same boat that was used for the emergency vehicle crane in Liberty City. The first thing to note is that these sunken walkways are now actually functional. Also, this doorway now has a door on it. The objects all over the deck are now solid too. There are no boats attached to the sides of the ship anymore. But what about inside? Well, that's all been cleared out too, unfortunately. There are now no traces of an interior to be found. Another location I rarely visited when I was younger was Fort Baxter. The reason is that any time you go near it, any army guys in the vicinity will shoot at you on sight. You don't even have to have a wanted level. So what's the knack to getting in there? It turns out that all you need is the police uniform. Now the soldiers won't bother you. Inside there are 2 barrack souls and a Patriot, which are free to take if you need either one. There are also several big guard towers, which you can climb to the top of, unless there are army guys just standing in the way. There are these sandbags on the roof too. There's this main building, and one of the logos up there has the Rockstar R on it. Here's the top of one of the towers. No secret packages or anything up here, sadly. Check out all these barracks too. And there are staircases that lead onto the exterior wall, so you can escape if necessary. There are hangars, and the different areas within Fort Baxter are all sectioned off by barbed wire fences, making it somewhat difficult to navigate around the whole place. Ooh, an assault course. Let's see if we can make the grade. And here we are in the last section of Fort Baxter. Check out these munition boxes in this tent. The main thing here though is a massive hangar. Now you may well know Fort Baxter if you enjoyed collecting all the hidden packages on Vice City. That's because when you collect 90 of them, the Rhino will spawn here. And when you collect all 100, the Hunter will spawn here at Fort Baxter as well. But still, even though I did this when I was younger, I still don't think I explored every inch of the army base. So I hope you saw something new regardless. There's one last thing to mention about Fort Baxter before we move on. If we drive over from the first island to the mainland, If you look towards where Fort Baxter is located, you can see what looks like a control tower. You can see it here, right in the centre of these two larger buildings. However, if we keep driving over to the mainland, when the island loads, it will have disappeared. This has come to be known as the Ghost Tower Mystery. For an answer to this mystery, we need to go to Sunshine Autos of all places. Here, there's a map used for the street races, but it's actually a beta map of Vice City. If we look at it, we can see that at one point in time, Fort Baxter never existed. Instead, the Escobar International Airport stretched all the way up. So therefore it was probably a control tower relating to the airport, rather than Fort Baxter. And when the army base was created, Rockstar simply forgot to remove the FAR LOD model of the old control tower. That leads us on to talking about Escobar International Airport itself. On the road to the airport, let's take a left to the freight and cargo area. Somewhere I never really went when I was younger. There's the freight and cargo terminal here, complete with a Top Fun van at the other side of the fence. Going through here just leads you to the rest of the airport, so that's not what we're here for. Across the road there's a car park that's almost empty, aside from some trailers. If we look over there, we can see the area that features in the mission Cabmageddon for Kaufman Cabs. If we continue down the road though, we come to the ocean. There's a little jetty down here, not one that's big enough to receive freight and cargo ships though. There's this big hangar type building here too. Oh look, a drinks machine for the staff. How about a can of Sprunk? There's this cool office at the back, which has furniture in it, like a desk, some files, and even a safe. Hang on, is the safe open? Sadly, it looks like someone has beaten us to it. But, well, there's nothing inside anymore. It could have made a nice Easter egg if there was. There's a little table too, which we can stand on. And a pile of boxes with a secret package next to them. One thing you'll notice about some of the places I'm featuring in this video is that they do have secret packages in or near them. To be honest, Vice City is smaller than Liberty City, and the developers utilised it quite well. There are few areas of the city, at least interesting ones, that go completely unused. If we run to the end here, we just come to a dead end, so let's venture down here instead. Ah, these seem to be fuel pumps, so I guess this is where they refueled the cargo ships in preparation for their return voyages. The warning signs on the side are so clear with these improved emulator graphics too. Let's go along this walkway here. We can see the sea again. We can even see some more ghost ships. This area does have a floor down there, but we can't typically get there. But as we've seen, we do have methods of getting underwater. And here we are, back with the waterproof BF injection. Of course we can dive in, and we're now actually driving underwater down here. Not much to say about this area though, although you do get a view of those wooden poles that extend under the surface of the water. Also, if you try this yourselves, it's not a great idea to see what happens if you try and get out of your vehicle. Here's another one of my favourite locations in Vice City. And that's because it's only available during one specific mission. The mission in question is Hit the Courier from the Printworks. Usually, you'd go down to Viceport and do what you have to do to steal some plates from this rival counterfeiting operation. That's what I always did anyway. I never really got too far away from the docks. If you let them escape though, they drive somewhere. But where? Let's follow them and find out. Well, they end up going to Little Haiti, down this alley. Obviously it's crawling with baddies, so we need to be a bit more prepared next time. But the important thing is that we now know where their destination is. Upon starting the mission again, I'm just going to run straight there. Again, we head down this alley near Phil's place. And down to these doors where a secret package is located. When the courier gets somewhere close to the location, these doors open to reveal a hidden room. Let's just dispense with these enemies and we can take a look around. Well, actually, not before we take out the courier herself. And then one more that caught me unaware. And nearly a random ped that I thought was an enemy, but wasn't. Anyway, what do we have here? Well, it's a small room with a single printing press in the centre. It's the same model as we see during cutscenes at our own Printworks asset. There's some nice detail on the side where the control panel is, which you never really see otherwise. There's only one way in and out, although there's a permanently closed door to the back of the room, so it looks like a pretty small operation. But we never get to venture through the other door. Maybe they had even more printing presses in there. The doors appear to stay open until the mission is concluded. While we're talking about interiors, let's take a quick stop off near the Greasy Chopper, the hangout spot of the biker gang headed up by Mitch Baker. It's a location where you can receive missions as you progress through the game. Across the road is Howlin' Pete's Biker Emporium, a shop which contains a very handy PCJ 600. Just smash the glass and borrow it. If you smash the other pane of glass, it reveals several leather jackets hung up, presumably for sale. However, you cannot purchase anything from here, or change costume for free. If we go towards the door with the rocket launcher equipped, face away from the door, aim the rocket launcher and look behind us, it allows us to see through the wall. And we can see a hidden interior for Howlin' Pete's. It looks as though at some point we would have been able to purchase something from the shop, likely a biker outfit. This rocket launcher trick should work with most if not all walls around the game, so have fun with it. While we're in Little Haiti, I wanted to make a quick stop off at this, well, what I believe is a storm drain. It's somewhere I never really visited when I was younger, probably because despite being straight, it never really felt like a big shortcut to anywhere. There's a really narrow bit in the centre too, which can make it difficult to line up your car correctly so as not to hit it. You can see a wanted level pickup overhead here as well. Perhaps this is why you may be more familiar with this place. Perhaps you've jumped over it more than you've driven through it. There's some interesting graffiti on the signs, including Haitian related artwork, and also the Rockstar logo. The storm drain runs from near the Printworks asset all the way to this building with the BMT burger advertising on the roof. It's way shorter than the storm drain we would go down in the sequel, GTA San Andreas. The final location we're going to look at begins here, on one of the main streets of Vice City's mainland. Let's go left down this narrow alley. We come out in an expanse behind all the buildings that line nearby streets. I've set up a car for us here, so we can explore this area quicker. Anyway, as I say, we're travelling around the back of some of the buildings in Little Haiti right now. It's like in real life, where you spy a look into the back of a shop or a hotel. It never looks as glamorous as the front. It's often where the bins are kept and where the staff take their breaks. It's usually a place that the public are never really meant to see. As we go, we'll see other pathways branching off here, some blocked, some open. And we come to this cobbled surface here as well. Let's follow it and see where it goes. We're going around the back of Phil's place now to help you get your bearings. Also, look at these bollards that line the other side of this walkway. Looking at the shape of them, they look almost like capstans for mooring boats. There's even a small lower section to explore. There's a long pier or jetty, which is perfect for pulling up in a boat and continuing on foot. And check out this strange dead end. It looks like a great place for something like a hidden package, but unfortunately it goes unused. I believe we're now going around the junkyard, and due to the obstruction in front of us, we're going to have to abandon our sentinel and walk the rest of the way. You can just about squeeze past this mass of metal. Just past the junkyard is this bridge. There are what look like tracks or rails on it, as if it was created for a specific purpose at one point in time. A purpose that has long been forgotten by the residents of the city. There is one pickup here, a rampage icon, which we can see here. And there's another one of these tracks, this time seemingly starting from a solid wall. It almost looks like something that would be used for moving industrial material around, like mining carts or something. And just as it started, it ends by going straight into a wall. Another little dead end here too, which sent the camera crazy. And the path finally ends around the back of some of the houses in Little Havana, which surprisingly don't have any windows to take advantage of the views. That's a home improvement I'd consider making if I lived here. And just like the cobbled path ends, so must this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you for more GTA content very soon.